All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Saira Mujtaba. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch 7 urban infrastructure projects in Bihar today through video conferencing. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to make statement in Lok Sabha today on standoff between Indian and Chinese troops along LAC in eastern Ladakh. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 78%. Total recoveries reach over 37,80,000. Government bans export of all varieties of onions with immediate effect. Online nominations for Padma Awards to close today. And India beat China to become member of United Nations Commission on Status of Women. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate and lay the foundation stones for 7 projects related to urban infrastructure in Bihar today through video conferencing. Out of these, 4 projects are related to water supply, 2 to sewerage treatment and 1 to riverfront development. The total cost of these projects is 541 crore rupees. The implementation of these projects has been undertaken by BUDCO under Urban Development and Housing Department of Bihar. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar will also be present on the occasion. More from our correspondent.
Sewage treatment plants built under Namami Gange at Beur and Karmalichak in Patna Municipal Corporation will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister. Water supply projects built under Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation in Siwan Municipal Council and Chhapra Municipal Corporation will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister. Both these projects will help local residents get pure drinking water 24 hours a day. The foundation stone of Munger water supply scheme under Amrut Mission will be laid by the Prime Minister. The scheme will help residents of Munger Municipal Corporation get pure water through pipelines. Foundation stone of Jamalpur water supply scheme under Amrut Mission in Jamalpur Municipal Council will also be laid. The foundation stone of Muzaffarpur Riverfront development scheme being built under Namami Gange will be laid by the Prime Minister. Under the project, 3 ghats of Muzaffarpur, Purvi Akhada Ghat, Sidi Ghat and Chandwara Ghat will be developed. Basic facilities like toilets, information kiosk, changing room, pathway, watchtower will be made available at the riverfront. Proper security arrangements, signage and adequate lighting will be arranged for at these ghats. With KK report from Patna, Sanjeev Jasrotia, AIR News.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is scheduled to make a statement in Lok Sabha today on the standoff between Indian and Chinese troops along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. The statement assumes significance in the backdrop of demands made by the opposition for a debate on the issue. In the Lok Sabha, the Salary, Allowances and Pension of Members of Parliament Amendment Bill 2020, the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill 2020 and the Banking Regulation Amendment Bill 2020 are listed for consideration and passing during the day. In the Rajya Sabha, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Second Amendment Bill 2020 is likely to be introduced. NDA candidate Harivansh has been re-elected as the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha by voice vote. His name was proposed by BJP President and Party MP JP Nadda, while Leader of the House Thawarchand Gehlot seconded it. Later, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu announced his election. The opposition had pitted Manoj Jha of RJD against Harivansh. However, opposition parties did not press for voting and the JDU MP was declared elected with voice vote. Congratulating Harivansh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, be it as a journalist or a social worker, JDU MP Harivansh has endeared himself to many. He said everyone has seen the manner in which he conducts the House proceedings.
हरिवंश जी के लिए जो सम्मान और अपनापन मेरे मन में है, इन्हें करीब से जानने वाले लोगों के मन में है, वही अपनापन और सम्मान आज सदन के हर सदस्य के मन में भी है। ये भाव, ये आत्मीयता हरिवंश जी की अपनी कमाई हुई पूंजी है। उनकी जो कार्यशैली है, जिस तरह सदन की कार्यवाही को वो चलाते हैं, उसे देखते हुए ये स्वाभाविक भी है। सदन में निष्पक्ष रूप से आपकी भूमिका लोकतंत्र को मजबूत करती है।
Parliament has passed the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2020 and the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill 2020, with the Lok Sabha approving them yesterday. Both these bills were passed by the Rajya Sabha on 19th of March this year during the budget session. The bills are aimed at ensuring availability of high-quality medical professionals both for homeopathic treatment as well as for the Indian system of medicine. The National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2020 seeks to repeal the Homeopathy Central Council Act 1973 and to set up a National Commission for Homeopathy. The National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill 2020 seeks to repeal the Indian Medicine Central Council Act 1970 and set up a National Commission for Indian System of Medicine. The bills also envisage a national eligibility cum entrance test for admission to both undergraduate and postgraduate courses of homeopathy and for various disciplines of Indian system of medicine. The bills will now be sent to the President for his assent. Government has banned the export of all varieties of onions with immediate effect. The move is aimed at increasing availability and checking the price of the commodity in the domestic market. Director General of Foreign Trade said in a notification that the export of all varieties of onions is prohibited with immediate effect.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio on the 27th of this month. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, "The greatest strength of Mann Ki Baat is the diverse range of inputs received from people across India." He said people can share their views in the Namo app or MyGov open forum. Mr. Modi said they can also dial the toll-free number 1800-117800 and record their message. People can give a missed call on 1922 and follow the link received in SMS to directly give their suggestions to the Prime Minister. COVID-19 recovery rate in the country has improved to 78%. During the last 24 hours, more than 77,000 COVID patients have recovered. The total number of recoveries has reached over 37,80,000. The constantly increasing recoveries have ensured that the actual caseload of the country has reduced and currently comprises only 20.36% of the total positive cases.
The Health Ministry today said that India has consistently maintained a low and declining case fatality rate or CFR, which stands at 1.64%. This is the lowest compared to the global average of 3.2% and many countries. It said the aim is to achieve a national CFR of less than 1%. Many states and union territories even today have CFR of less than 1%. In Tamil Nadu, the active COVID-19 caseload has marginally come down to about 46,900. The total infections have crossed 5,08,000, while the recoveries have mounted to over 4,53,000. Meanwhile, the State School Education Department is making efforts to fine-tune the curriculum in view of the lost teaching hours due to the pandemic. More from our correspondent.
The State School Education Department is said to have curtailed the syllabus for the classes up to 10th standard by about 40%. The plus 1 and plus 2 syllabi are left almost untouched as they assume more importance for various entrance examinations. Meanwhile, the Anna University that conducts semester examinations for the engineering students in its affiliated colleges is gearing up to hold the final semester examinations from the 24th of this month through online. Its duration is expected to be 1 hour with multiple choice questions. Students have been asked to be prepared with laptops, desktops or smartphones with facilities like internet, camera and mic to appear for the examinations. Viva OC for the students will be held on the 22nd. Mock tests are being arranged before the commencement of the exams as this is a new exercise being carried in the new situation. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
In Gujarat, 1,334 new cases of COVID-19 were recorded during the last 24 hours. Our correspondent reports that the recovery rate of the state has further improved to 82.84%.
More than 33,60,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date, out of which 71,507 tests were carried out yesterday. Out of 1,334 new cases, the maximum 278 new cases reported from Surat. Total cases of COVID-19 in the state have gone up to 1,14,996. At present, 16,501 active cases in the state, out of which 93 patients are on ventilator. At the other end, 1,255 patients have been discharged from various hospitals after recovery. Total patients recovered from COVID-19 have gone up to 95,265. 17 patients have lost their lives yesterday, taking the total deaths due to COVID-19 in the state up to 3,230. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Vijay Rupani has shared his video message after undertaking his COVID-19 test, which was negative. He appealed to the people to come forward proactively for the COVID test with the message, "Test is best." Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Maharashtra government has accorded ambulance status to the vehicles carrying medical oxygen for 1 year. A notification was issued in this regard yesterday. It said that these vehicles will be considered as vehicles on emergency and disaster management duties. The decision was taken in view of the spread of COVID-19 pandemic and the necessity of uninterrupted oxygen supply to the various hospitals in the state. More in this report from our correspondent.
State government has accorded ambulance status to vehicles carrying medical oxygen for 1 year. The notification in this regard says that such vehicles will be considered as vehicles on emergency and disaster management duties. On the other hand, Food and Drug Administration Minister Rajendra Shingne assured that the state has adequate reserves of oxygen. While speaking at a joint meeting of oxygen producers, suppliers and transporters, he said that about 11% of patients in the state need oxygen, which requires about 500 metric tons of oxygen. Even though the state is currently producing more than 1,000 metric tons, there are complaints of shortage of oxygen at some places. Therefore, he said that all suppliers and transporters should increase their distribution network to ensure that oxygen reaches the needy. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Madhya Pradesh, more than 20,000 tests are being conducted every day to check corona infection. More from our correspondent.
Madhya Pradesh recorded the highest single-day spike of 2,483 coronavirus cases yesterday, taking the statewide count to 90,730. With 29 more fatalities, the death toll went up to 1,791. As per the State Health Bulletin, 1,713 patients were discharged from the hospitals, taking the count of recoveries in the state to 67,711. The state now has 7,020 active containment zones and 21,228 active cases. The number of COVID-19 cases in Indore, the worst district in the state, rose to 17,161. Bhopal's overall case tally stood at 13,431, while the case count in Gwalior and Jabalpur went up to 7,825 and 6,441. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Odisha recorded an all-day high of 4,198 COVID-19 positive cases yesterday, taking the total caseload to 1,55,005. Similarly, with the recovery of 3,363 more persons, the total recovery has gone up to 1,18,642. While there are 35,673 active cases in the state, Khurda district leads the tally with 758 cases, followed by Cuttack with 367 cases. More from our correspondent.
Anxious to arrest the viral spiral, the state government has given a further boost to its track and treat ecosystem. In order to track down the potential cases, while an oxygen test drive has been launched in the earlier hotspot Ganjam district, the Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation has begun a mega house-to-house survey in the non-slum areas of the capital city, which has been reporting a daily spike in cases. In terms of treatment, while the state government has decided to close down temporary medical centers and COVID care centers across the district, due to zero occupancy, it has further toned up the treatment facilities in at least 5 urban centers, including the capital city of Bhubaneswar. Private hospitals having 30+ beds in other cities like Cuttack, Sambalpur, Barampur and Rourkela have been asked to earmark at least 50% of the general beds and 80% of the ICU beds exclusively for the COVID-19 patients. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
In Bihar, COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 91% in the state. Health Minister Mangal Pandey said this is nearly 14% more than the national average. In all, 1,966 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. 1,45,019 patients have recovered from the infection in the state so far. 13,675 patients are undergoing treatment in various hospitals at present. Positive cases have mounted to 1,59,526. Casualties due to corona have gone up to 831. The total number of testings has crossed 50 lakh in the state. In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you views of some leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News Director at AIIMS in Delhi, Dr. Randeep Guleria advised the people to aggressively follow the social distancing and hand hygiene norms to check the spread of COVID-19 infection.
Regular hand washing should be done. You should avoid going to crowded places because if someone in the crowd is coughing and has the infection, he can spread to others. Then if any member in your family has fever, cough, cold, he should stay at home and avoid going out so that he doesn't spread the infection to other people in the community.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch 7 urban infrastructure projects in Bihar today through video conferencing. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to make statement in Lok Sabha today on standoff between Indian and Chinese troops along LAC in eastern Ladakh. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 78%. Total recoveries reach over 37,80,000. Government bans export of all varieties of onions with immediate effect. Online nominations for Padma Awards to close today. India beats China to become member of United Nations Commission on Status of Women. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Today is the last date for the online nominations and recommendations for the Padma Awards to be announced on the occasion of Republic Day next year. The nominations will be received online only on the Padma Awards portal. The Padma Awards, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri are amongst the highest civilian awards of the country. The award seeks to recognize work of distinction and is given for distinguished and exceptional achievements and service in all fields and disciplines. Government servants, including those working with PSUs, except doctors and scientists, are not eligible for Padma Awards. The government is committed to transform Padma Awards into People's Padma. All citizens have therefore been requested to make nominations, including self-nomination. The Home Ministry has requested all central ministries and departments, state governments, Bharat Ratna and Padma Vibhushan awardees, institutes of excellence to make efforts to identify talented persons. The government has dismissed a media report claiming that process of new recruitment has been banned. Press Information Bureau said in a tweet that the claim is misleading. It said recruitment will continue normally through government agencies like Staff Selection Commission and Union Public Service Commission. The government has also dismissed a media report which claimed that the Home Ministry has ordered reopening of cinema halls across the country from 1st of October. In a tweet, Press Information Bureau said the claim is fake. It said no decision has been taken by the Home Ministry on reopening of cinema halls yet.
Chhattisgarh will raise a special force to counter Maoist problem in the tribal Bastar region. Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel directed the police department to raise a Bastar special force. He said that youth from Gram Panchayats in sensitive areas of Bastar division should be recruited in the Bastar special force. It will not only ensure employment, but their presence will give an advantage to the police in terms of knowledge of local dialects and the terrain. In Jammu and Kashmir, Press Information Bureau and Regional Outreach Bureau under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting jointly organized a webinar on Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat initiative. The webinar focused on general and historical aspects with special focus on tourism in the paired state of Tamil Nadu and Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. More from our correspondent.
The webinar on Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat initiative through digital platforms between the two regions was attended by experts and students from both sides. The webinar focused on general and historical aspects with special focus on tourism in the paired states. DG South Region, Mr. Venkateshwar, said that this was a unique opportunity to connect to the people of J&K and Ladakh, and cultural exchange through Ek Bharat Shresh Bharat would help in creating long-lasting bonds between people of both the regions. Former Director Information J&K KB Jindal explained about historical, geographical and demographical aspects of the UT of J&K and Ladakh. Professor Bernard Semi, DN Human Excellence, College Chennai, covered historical, architectural and cultural aspects of Tamil Nadu like Thanjavur temples, Chola temples and Mahabalipuram. And Gulshan Rana for AIR News, Jammu.
In our series on Gandhian philosophy, we bring you today Mahatma Gandhi's views on conservation of environment. Bapu was very outspoken about the need for conserving the environment. In 1909, in his book Hind Swaraj, Gandhiji cautioned Indians against unrestricted industrialism and materialism. He said the earth, the air, the land and the water are not an inheritance from our forefathers, but on loan from our children. So we have to hand over to them at least as it was handed over to us. A report.
Almost 100 years ago, Mahatma Gandhi criticized people for polluting the rivers and other water bodies and mills and factories for polluting the air with smoke and noise. He believed that India, with its large population and Western model of development, may exhaust the resources of Mother Earth. He said that Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. It is only possible to follow his advice if one can distinguish between their real needs and artificial wants. He believed that one must be the change that one wants to see in the world, and hence he practiced what he preached. With Anupam Mishra, Suparna Sekhya, AIR News, Delhi.
The nation celebrates Engineers Day today to mark the birth anniversary of the renowned Indian engineer Bharat Ratna Mokshagundam Visvesvaraya. Civil engineer and statesman Visvesvaraya is popularly known as Sir M.V. He was the chief engineer of Krishna Raja Sagar Dam in the northwest suburb of Mysuru city. Mokshagundam played crucial role in important constructions and projects in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, the two Telugu states. He used his expertise to solve the erosion problem of Visakhapatnam port from seawater and also designed flood protection system for Hyderabad, which brought laurels.
The Bangladesh government has allowed to export Hilsa fish to India on a limited scale in view of the forthcoming Durga Puja. The Commerce Ministry has allowed 9 exporters to send a total of approximately 1,500 tons of Hilsa to India. The export will be allowed till 10th of October. Bangladesh had imposed a ban on the export of Hilsa in 2012. India has been elected as the member of the Commission on Status of Women or CSW, a body of the Economic and Social Council or ECOSOC. India will be a member of the prestigious body for 4 years from 2021 to 2025. India's permanent representative to the UN, T.S. Tirumurti, said, "It is a ringing endorsement of India's commitment to promote gender equality and women's empowerment in all endeavors." India, Afghanistan and China had contested the elections to the Commission on Status of Women. While India and Afghanistan won the ballot among the 54 members, China failed to cross the halfway mark. The CSW is the principal global intergovernmental body exclusively dedicated to the promotion of gender equality and the empowerment of women. It promotes women's rights, highlights the reality of women's lives throughout the world, and helps in shaping global standards on gender equality and empowerment of women. 45 member states of the UN serve as members of the Commission at any one time.
4 companies and a manufacturing facility in northwestern China have been blocked from shipping their products to the United States. The move was taken by the US owing to the firm's suspected reliance on forced labor from people detained as part of a massive campaign against ethnic minorities in the region. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CPB, issued orders freezing imports from companies that produce cotton, clothing and computer parts in the Xinjiang region of northwestern China. The Chinese authorities have reportedly detained more than 1 million people in detention camps as part of the crackdown. CPB also halted imports of hair products made at a manufacturing facility where authorities believe Uyghurs and other ethnic minorities are forced to work. Ken Cuccinelli, the acting Deputy Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, dismissed the notion that the facility is a vocational center, as has been portrayed by Chinese authorities. The U.S. issues the orders under the 1930 Tariff Act, which prohibits imports produced with prison or slave labor to ensure fair competition with U.S. manufacturers and keep tainted products out of the supply chain. Greek authorities picked up 56 survivors from the sea yesterday during a large rescue operation after a vessel carrying an unknown number of migrants sank off the southern island of Crete. The mishap left 3 migrants dead, that included a woman and 2 children. The Coast Guard official said efforts are on to locate other people who might be in the water. They said a Greek naval frigate and an Air Force helicopter were taking part in the search, together with 2 Coast Guard boats and 3 merchant ships. Greece's East Aegean Sea islands are the typical destination of thousands of asylum seekers from the West Asia, Africa and Asia who cross illegally from the nearby Turkish coast in hope of finding a better life in the European Union.
And now let's take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital of Delhi will have partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature recorded in the city was 27 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 37 degrees. In Mumbai, there will be generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The temperature is likely to hover between 25 and 32 degrees Celsius. Chennai is likely to witness generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 32 degrees Celsius. Kolkata may have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is likely to be 35 degrees. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was recorded at 25 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. The city will have mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the temperature will hover between 13 degrees and 30 degrees Celsius. The city is likely to have mainly clear sky. Ladakh will also have mainly clear sky today. The temperature may hover between 9 and 27 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, the minimum temperature was 15 degrees and the maximum will be 32 degrees Celsius. The city will have a mainly clear sky. Muzaffarabad is also likely to have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 19 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees Celsius.
Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju laid foundation stones for various sports facilities at the cost of over 12 crore rupees in Leh yesterday. The minister laid the foundation for a synthetic track and astroturf for football in Leh at an open stadium. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Kiren Rijiju said, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, the union government is inculcating a sporting culture in the country, which in turn keeps the people healthy and fit.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. As India overtakes Brazil to record highest number of COVID-19 recoveries in the world, all the dailies mention about the coronavirus reaching another peak in the country. 25 MPs test COVID positive as Parliament begins, reports the Asian Age. Thousands of slum dwellers breathe a sigh of relief as no immediate action is to be taken. The Pioneer notes, relief for 48,000 jhuggis in Delhi as centre intervenes. Centre opposes move to recognize same-sex unions as the legal system society do not recognize it, writes The Hindu, quoting the government. Running counter to government demand for greater scrutiny, the Times of India, quoting TRI, writes, no regulation needed for communication apps such as WhatsApp, Apple FaceTime, Google Chat and Skype.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch 7 urban infrastructure projects in Bihar today through video conferencing. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to make statement in Lok Sabha today on standoff between Indian and Chinese troops along LAC in eastern Ladakh. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 78%. Total recoveries reach over 37,80,000. Government bans export of all varieties of onions with immediate effect. Online nominations for Padma Awards to close today. And India beat China to become member of United Nations Commission on Status of Women. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.